but it still hurt. I've had people make fun of me, tell me to get a job. Yeah, I wish I could. I'm a 7-time convicted felon. It's hard to get a job if you have a record. It's hard to get a place if you have a record. But even if I didn't have a record, I don't have $650, $700, whatever the rent is at that point to do it. And then, honestly, I'm bringing up the Seminary Square. I think it's bull. Because we had a vote, the county, no, not the county, but the Parks and Rec put up to have it not done. And a lot of us, including myself, and I feel like a lot of us, was suckered into thinking it was going to be smashed. They used that little bitty loophole that was not affected at night. Yeah. When a lot of us thought it was going to be. It was for both day and night. I think it's bull. I won't finish that sentence. Then they came down there and tore them down, broke tents, tore them up. People's property was spread all over, just literally thrown on the ground. They said, well, we didn't know they were sleeping. No, we didn't think they were sleeping. I'm sorry, if anybody closes their eyes and lays on the ground with their eyes closed, they're sleeping. They said they found needles. Well, from what I understand, they was in boxes unused. Right. Yep. It's like they're trying to blame the homeless for the problem. We're not the problem. It's this government is the problem. The people want us off the street to give us a place off the street. Not, well, let's just push it further out in the woods. Okay, some of us may go, others are not. They continue to push us from one place to another, because they just don't want to see us. Common sense says somebody's going to get tired of it, and they're going to move right into the neighborhoods that's trying to get rid of us. Yeah. Or right down here in the center of town. Or right on the mayor's front step. Yeah. At Parks and Rec. Somebody's going to do that. I don't want that to happen. So give us a place off the streets. Help us. Not just try to throw us corner to corner, because we're going to get tired of it.
Tired now.
A lot of us are, but we still have to use the system because we have no other choice. Do I want to? No. I would love to be able to go into a place. I'm on the streets right now. I'd love to be able to go into a place, be able to go to the bathroom in a nice warm bathroom in the middle of the night. I can't. I would love to be able to go home, kick off my shoes, turn on some TV, watch it. I can't. And honestly, I'm hoping soon. I did qualify for rapid rehousing.
Yes, sir.
But with my past, I don't know what's going to happen. And I really don't. I hope I have a place soon. But that's going to be, it's a variable. I don't know. I'm hoping. But we'll see. But if this city, these government officials want us off the streets, then give us a place. Help the ones out like Beacon and the Slum Center, help us get off. Help them help us get off the streets.
Amen.
Help the other people that's trying to help us get off the streets. Not putting so many curbs on them to help us. You want to get rid of us? Get rid of us, but help us get off the streets.
Yes, sir.
Not put more and more on the streets. Stop letting these evictions happen in the first place because of the COVID. We are in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes, sir.
Let's stop putting more and more people out here that can't find jobs because there's too little jobs if you are a normal person. There's been too many fights over jobs in the first place.
Yes, sir.
Stop. The government needs to stop letting them kick people out. We wouldn't have this many homeless if it wasn't for that. And people continue to let them. This government continues to let them. The Parks and Rec don't want us in their parks sleeping, then, help us get someplace to go.
Yes, sir.
They have places that we could use to be in, even temporary shelters. Let us use them. With stipulations, of course, because there's going to have to be. But let us use them. And I'm not really aiming at anybody Pacific here. Well, yeah, I am. But the mayor and the chief of police, if the mayor's stupid enough to not know what was going on, I'm sorry about that. But the chief of police is the one that signed off on raiding seminary and taking the tents down, including the one that we thought was smashed. They should never have did that. It is against COVID regulations that were set by the CDC. In my opinion, they broke the government law, not the city, not the state, but the government law.
Yes, sir.
And they should be punished for that. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Harry.
Okay, guys, can you hear me without this? I don't like this thing. Okay, my husband and I were out here for a year. Thankfully, last few weeks,
They can't hear you.
Oh, I don't like these things. All right. Good. Can everybody hear me now?
Hold it like kiss it.
How about that? All right. My husband and I both were out here for a year. Thanks to Beacon, we're no longer on the street. But during our time out here, I have a lot of health issues. I get my medicine at CVS. As soon as I walk in the door with a backpack on, security follows me every step of the way. If I had to use the bathroom, leave your backpack out here. You can't take it in there with you. Kroger did the same thing. Police officer followed us out, took our picture. And it's like, what for? We're not doing anything. We come in here, we bought something, and you're going to take our picture because we have backpacks on. It is baloney. And the mayor can say all he wants, that he didn't know anything. It's crap.
He knew.
People need to open their eyes and realize we are human.
Yes,
May not
hear me if I don't use this? Yeah. All right. So, here we are again. I spent a lot of time on this square this summer, fall, and winter. It pains me to be back here, but I'm glad to see so many people show up again. I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm a white, cisgender, normal, privileged male. This isn't about me. And quite frankly, I'm sick of hearing of people like me talking loudly over others.
Yes, sir.
One thing I want to do, Harry kind of touched on it, but I'm going to go item by item through the mayor's little big lie and touch on all of them. First line, the city is concerned. Lie. Lie. Last night, as they've been doing for many weeks, BPD downtown resource officers, social worker, and neighborhood specialists spent time at Seminary Park reminding people of the no-sleep rule in the city parks. If I go up to your house, invade it, kick you out, and destroy your stuff, am I reminding you of something? Or am I exerting violence upon you?
Violence.
That's violence. That's a lie. It goes on to say, I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm not going to bore you with it. A bus was provided to transport anyone who wanted shelter to Wheeler Mission. Now, I don't like to talk badly about organizations that try to do good things, but I am here to tell you that there were 2 people that went from that Seminary Park into a shelter, one of which went to Wheeler. Each person that said no had their own individual reasons, and you are not allowed to judge them for their individual reasons to not go. For me, personally, I would never step foot in Wheeler Mission just because I am Jewish.
Yes, sir.
And I'm banned. He's banned.
And what about the women?
What about the women? What about people like you? They don't let you in there.
I'm gay.
Because you're gay. Now, let's take a step back and realize and ask ourselves, why is our government teaming up with a bigoted organization that wouldn't let my wonderful friend, my other wonderful friend, in? Why are we giving them money?
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the numbers. I know you do, so correct me if I'm wrong. But they were given money recently to open up the women's shelter for November.
$55,000.
How much?
$55,000.
$55,000 to get it open by November.
One.
November 1st?
November 1st.
And it's still
Well, November's right around the corner, isn't it? I'm not talking badly about them. I'm just saying what people have to go through to get some warmth, to get some shelter. It's not accessible like he's claiming.
That's right.
It goes on. Both park specialists and BPD officers report that park users are not generally using parks and park structures as residences. We must have the most incompetent government for a city I've ever fucking heard of. How can you tell me, when I've seen it, you've seen it, that those people aren't living out there? How can you be so dismissive of their plight? You must either be incompetent or willfully ignorant. Pick one. Both work.
They're both good, they're both fit.
Exposed sharps are dangerous. No, our friends at the IRA have dispelled that several times. Just so you know, if you step on a needle that is open, you probably won't, but if you step on a needle that is open, there is no, correct me if I'm wrong on this one,
There's never been a single case of somebody accidentally getting HIV or hepatitis C from a needle stick from the community, ever. There's not one on record.
They say this year alone, 1,796 needles have been picked up. And they said 252 needles were collected in 2019. That number might be an accurate number, but once you actually realize what they're talking about, it's more lies. As Harry so eloquently put, they don't differentiate between a sealed box of needles and a needle on the ground that's been used. So that right there tells me a lot of people were actually doing their due diligence, buying boxes of needles and trying to stay clean. And they got their stuff rated. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of these lies. I'm not gonna, there's more. I can keep going, but again, I'm sick and tired of this type of voice being loud. These folks, when I talk to them through the Blues and Homeless Coalition, and before that, through just wanting friends, they want help. The majority of them, the vast majority of them, would take any help they could get, as long as it wasn't discriminatory, demeaning. They would do anything. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, there are a few that wouldn't take it. There are a few that want to live in tents. And I don't see anything wrong with that either. Stolen land, where we divide up land between private and public. If you do not have private land of your own, you're forced to use public. Or if you can't rent private land on your own, you're forced to use public. But at that point, you're homeless. You're hated. You're unloved, right? No. But that's how our government treats these folks. They're not allowed in the parks. They're citizens. They're not allowed to use the restrooms across the streets. They're not allowed to use the library right now because it's closed because of COVID. Another thing I want to go into, I want to explain to people how hard it is to find a job. I'm not even talking yet about being homeless and finding a job. I want to talk about how hard it is to find a job.
Yeah.
I was fired on day one of COVID, the Great Panic. It was a Saturday. Fired, not let go, not told to come back later. That was the last day of work I've had. For 4 hours a day, I'm on the internet trying to find a job that pays the bills. I'm 35 years old. I can't find a job right now.
I can't find a job right now.
And I'm a person that has an address. What's the second question on an application after your name? What's your address? Have you ever filled out an application and come to a question that you don't know the answer to? You know that panic that you're like, oh God, I don't have this job now. Imagine that being the second question.
How about a felony?
How about a felony? These people have served their time. They've been released. I'm going to say that again. They served their time. Now, I've spoke to everybody in this community. I hope to. Everybody's worth listening to. But everybody that I've talked to that has that complaint right there, I'm a felon. And I ask what happened, if you don't mind my asking. I messed up when I was young. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're living with those mistakes for the rest of their lives because that's what we do here in America. We release them out so we don't have to pay for their meals anymore. And then we really don't pay for their meals anymore. It's a shame. So while you're out here, and I want to take a second to thank you for coming out here. The weather gods have graced us with a fairly decent day for now. But thank you for coming out here. That's already winning. But while you're out here, think about these things that we're talking about. Think about our neighbors that couldn't make it here because they don't have a working wheelchair. Think about our neighbors that couldn't make it here because they've been in the woods for 2 days now and we can't find them. There's several of those that we're still looking for. I know I keep saying I'm not going to talk for longer and I keep coming up with stuff, but I'll tell one story. I'm going to give a shout out real quick. Actually, this is something I should do. There's medics over there. If you need anything, they're awesome. They're volunteer medics. Street medics. I met them through, activities this summer. Black Lives Matter. They do wonderful work. We got a call one day, and I was helping them out. We got a call one day that somebody had an infected foot at Seminary Park. All we had to go on was that he was in a wheelchair. I was the first on the scene. 4-minute response time, which beats the police, by the way. We got the medics. I found him. We got the medics to him. For obvious reasons, I will not say his name. This veteran with one missing leg had half of his foot missing, and it was infected.
Was it macaron too?
We're getting there. Upon talking to this gentleman, I found out before the medics got there that he had been to Bloomington Hospital, IU Health, 3 times in the week and a half before for this very reason. He got seen 0 times. That man has insurance. There was no reason to kick that man out other than they didn't like him. We took his shoe off, and the medics took a look at it, and I saw one of the worst things I've ever seen in the Western world when I saw a fly birth itself from the wound and maggots crawling around in it. They rejected him from the hospital. Now, this is beyond street medic care, so you best believe we took him and his wheelchair and carted him from seminary to the hospital, checked him in, and stared at them until they let him in. It was the middle of COVID. They only allowed one person to go in, me not being the medic, me just being the guy with a loud mouth. I left. One of them. One of them stayed. One of them stayed. Won't use names, but he stayed. 4 hours later, I heard that he was finally admitted. This was in August, and I'm sad to say, we haven't heard from this man since. We can't find him. Sit on that for a second. He's lost.
Hey, my name's John Pritchett. Hey, John. I do work at the Indiana Recovery Alliance, but I'm just making a disclaimer. I'm not here representing them. I'm here for myself. Do I not talk a lot? I thought I talked a little bit. And my mouth is dry.
You gotta remember, a big mouth just can't see the microphone.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So I work at the Indiana Recovery Alliance. I moved back here after being gone 20 years with my wife, Jen. I grew up here. I went to South. I love Bloomington. I love Bloomington. I grew up here, okay? When I was living in Evansville, I started doing homeless outreach for a place called Aurora that's like kind of a twin of Siloam, okay? When I moved here, I can't believe how this town treats the homeless people. Evansville treats their homeless better than Bloomington, okay? That's bad, all right? Okay, so I've been working closely with the Homeless Coalition, but we were on the call the other night about this, and many people read the protocol from the CDC on homeless encampments, and I'm going to read that because they went completely and totally against it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Considerations for encampments. If individual housing options are not available, allow people who are living unsheltered or in encampments to remain where they are. Clearing encampments can cause people to disperse through the community and break connections with service providers. This increases the potential for infectious disease spread. Encourage those staying in encampments to set up their tent sleeping quarters with at least 12 by 12 feet space per individual. If an encampment is not able to provide sufficient space for each person, allow them to remain where they are, but help decompress the encampment by linking those to increased risk of severe illness to individual rooms or safe shelter. Pretty hard when the hospital's not taking anybody, right? All right, so like the whole city system is completely broken down. We're supposed to be this progressive, beautiful city of Bloomington, and our government is the total opposite, okay? Not only that, but they decided to put on the front page of every paper a thing that said, "We voted no."
What?
They voted no, like we turned that down. We're going to allow that. That's what it said. They were bragging how they were going to allow it to stay, and then that night that they raided. I'm so mad about it. I can barely talk about it without just like. Anyway. All right. So this is the last thing I want to say because I get super freaking nervous in front of crowds. I started a fundraiser on Facebook. Okay, $500. As soon as I heard about that down there, just so I could try to buy some tents, and it's went viral pretty much. It's up to like $3,500. Okay. All right. So, my wife and I decided that we're basically gonna third it out. A third of it will go to Harry and the Homeless Coalition. Basically, to do what they need to do, because most things like this, they have to be peer resolved. Because obviously the government's not going to step in, right? Another third we're going to give to Katie from Hotels for the Homeless. Because I feel like there was a young woman who is very sick that was at seminary. She wasn't there that night, but her stuff got cleared out, okay? It took about a week to find her. I found her today, called Hotels for Homeless. She's in there, and then another agency's going to come do a coordinated assessment entry thing on her to try to get her housed. So here's what I kind of propose to you guys, all right? Like, it's possible. Like, people need to go out and talk to people experiencing homelessness.
Yes.
Just imagine. Okay, so I hate it. Feel like, oh, you're so great, John. On Facebook and crap, right? Like, oh, you did all these great things for people. It has nothing to do with that. If everyone here went out and tried to help them do this, the problem would not be there. Okay? There are enough people here right now to sponsor or help somebody get housed. Okay? Like, I had to borrow my freaking rent money this month, and I'm giving my money to these people, okay? Because I have a warm house. I have family that can help me. You know what I'm saying? That's the very, like, definition of privilege right there, right? Like, if I need help, but these people, they don't have that. Okay, there were people at seminary that I said on the call to them, I was like, you realize if you do this, there's going to be people crawling down the sidewalk away from there. They can't walk. They're in an encampment, and they go do that. I mean, there are women like that. There are no women's beds at Wheeler, Michigan.
Yeah, like you said, did the female wheelers even get open?
No.
No.
Okay. So, I just wanted to say that if you find it and donate to it, the money is gonna go to him. Okay. So please do that. Please. Yeah. He needs it. That's all I got.
so grateful that you are here. That there are organizations in Bloomington that are helping people who are experiencing homelessness. If you have $5, $1, donate to these people. Go. If you don't have any money, that's fine. Here's what you can do. Go and talk to these people. These people are human. Can you imagine being in survival mode 24-7? No, you fucking can't. It's the most barbaric thing that will take humanity away from human beings just because they don't have a fucking house. That's fucked up. I'm sorry for cussing. Talk to these human beings. Talk to them. Their life is so valuable, and every experience that they have ever had is so valuable. Any time I've ever spent and sat next to someone and listened to them, watch them cry, watch them talk, watch them laugh, watch them scream, watch them just have emotion, it's not only valuable to them, it's valuable to you. Those experiences are so powerful. So powerful. I'm not someone who experienced homelessness. I never have. But the thing is, when you sit down and talk to these people, you care about them because they have fucking feelings. These people matter to us. These people are my fucking family. I'll do anything for them. Each and every one of you needs to go and sit down with one of them and talk to them. Buy them a cup of coffee. Buy them a cigarette. Give them a cigarette. Give them a coffee. Anything you can. These people are so valuable to us. They are a part of our humanity just as much as we are. They're valued. They matter. If you work at a place that has people who come in are homeless, you should value them just as much as you do any other customer, if not more, because their experiences are so valuable to who they are as a human and how they contribute to the society. They're human beings. I'm sick and tired of people screaming at Seminary Park about how they should get a job. Okay, give them a job then. Stop telling them that they need to get a job and no one's going to give them one. Talk to these human beings. Talk to them. Listen to them. Let them express their sadness. Let them express their happiness. They're human beings. Just be patient. Be a fucking ally.
Yeah, I'm back for a minute. Actually, that lady right there, that lady right now, that lady right there just opened up to more people than I've ever seen her do. She came to me and asked me my experience. She came to me, and I'm homeless. She is one of my best friends. And in her own words, we are ride or die. I pray God, get everybody up here is my ride or die. We will go down together or we'll go out in flames. That's not the reason I really came up here. I have a challenge for this government. You want to get us off the streets? How about you come out here and live with us for a week with just your bare necessities? Because if you do, you will see a lot more respect for us homeless. I guarantee it. And hell, I'm even giving them more than a lot of us start out with. I'll be saying bare necessities. A lot of us start out with the clothes on our backs, nothing more. I'm giving at least something to start out with. They wouldn't. I'm being nice.
No more than $100.
The thing about it is,
Well,
no.
you know, we're talking to a certain class of people that might not understand. So you're just
No. Bare necessities, let somebody that has experienced homelessness, you are bare necessities.
Yes, sir.
That means for that week, You cannot go to a hotel. You have to live on the streets. You cannot spend any money. You have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, where you're going to sleep, where you're going to eat, where you're going to go to the bathroom. Everything we deal with daily, nightly. Everything. I challenge them. Of course, we all know they ain't going to do it. They're in their nice little fancy homes. Go to the bathroom whenever they want. You know, I would love to be in their situation. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be a mayor of this town. Hell, I wouldn't even want to run this town. Anywhere. But if I was, I guarantee you it would be a lot different. Because I use my personal experience. One of my good friends bring up felonies on getting a job. Yeah, I paid my debt. I have finally got off paper after 35 years.
Congratulations.
My first time on paper was at 10 years old. I just turned 45 and got off in June of this year.
Harry, say that again. When did you enter the...
10 years old.
What did I say earlier? Mistakes in the beginning. Mistakes in childhood that they have to chase for the rest of their lives. 10 years old. Something you do at 10 years old shouldn't chase you for the rest of your life.
You see me moving around a lot. There's a reason why. I have been diagnosed with PTSD because of my brother. I have been shot, stabbed, hung, hit with baseball bats, hit with cars. That was all my brother, nobody else. I have explosive temper disorder. I could go off at any moment and hurt somebody. Prison. That's the reason I was in prison. It's because I have a temper that is uncontrollable. Jobs. Honestly, yeah, I would love to work. But you know, I'm honestly afraid that if I go into a job, I'm going to end up going back to prison. I would love to have a place, and Beacon is helping out a lot. I have files for disability because I cannot deal with, love y'all and thank you for coming, but y'all, I can't deal with truth. I cannot do it. I do good. But honestly, I'm going to be up all night long just trying to calm myself down. I get wound up so much that I've actually had blackouts because I can't do it no more. That's the reason I pace, because I get very nervous.
We love you, Harry.
Yeah, we do.
People behind me, I don't trust people behind me until they earn my trust. Yet again, my brother literally stabbed me in the back. I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to stay here.
Yes, sir.
I went through a car wreck on my own, of my own stupidity. They said I would never walk. Well, I'm doing good. And yeah, I'm going to bring Mark into this one. Hey. If anybody listened to the Zoom,
Yep.
you heard him mention a board member that has bad feet. Here I am. I have frostbite on my feet, but yet I'm still out here. And I'm still walking. And I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay fighting. Because this town, run this town, keep putting the homeless mainly, and a lot of the, not even homeless, but the lower class, down to where they can't do anything. I'm tired of it. And I am, like I said, I challenge you. We all know they ain't going to do it. But you know, it's worth a try.
Yeah, it is.
If one of them government officials would try it, I guarantee you they would change their mind. And I challenge Parks and Rec too. I challenge Parks and Rec. I'm not only, I challenge all the higher authorities.
City council, mayor.
City council, well, actually I can't say the city council. Because we've actually had a few city councils that has came down and actually talked to us. And I'm actually happy about that. I probably won't have a voice in the morning, which anybody that's around me is going to be, hey, yeah. And as you see, I don't need a microphone. Anybody that's been to my meetings, or our meetings, sorry, I don't. I'm a loudmouth.
This is how he talks normally.
I was a football player. But it's one of them that here's just down to the nitty gritty of it. I'm saying this from my heart. I appreciate everyone, including Beacon, everyone that's out here. I thank you for being here. And I'm saying this from my heart. Merry Christmas, and I love y'all.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody! A festival of lights. A holiday of resistance, I might add. Real quick, we're talking about a lot of negative things, and it gets tiring. So I want to thank Hotels for Homeless. Yesterday, with a whole bunch of us, and a whole lot of other volunteers, again, I'm not getting numbers 17. We got 17 people from seminary into hotels within just a few short hours.
Everybody that was last had a place to go because of Hotels for Homeless. No one was left behind because of Hotels for Homeless last night.
Yes, ma'am.
Great, fantastic. With that being said, who knows Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers, when you find yourself sad, when you find yourself in despair, and you don't feel like the world is working out, look for the helpers.
Yeah,
We're out here.
we are. Yeah.
They are out here. They exist. Speaking of one helper, I want to introduce a good friend of mine who's been on the front lines with me, us, since the tragic passing of George Floyd. Patrick, he's going to lead us into some beautiful songs. He's been doing it with the Bloomington Homeless Coalition for a while. Thank you.
Hello, can you all hear me through my mask? Can you all hear me through my mask? Yeah. Excellent, wonderful. You all look beautiful and powerful. Yes, proclaiming this space, proclaiming this town, claiming it for the people. All power to the poor, absolutely. Right. So I'm actually on the clock right now at work. I work at Beacon, but I wanted to stop by and teach you all a quick song. I organize with the Poor People's Campaign and the National Union of the Homeless, and we are all about movement music. We can all lift our voices together, and it can sound pretty good. So I'm going to teach you a song real quick. This one's called Somebody is Hurting My Brother. All right, so I will say, somebody is hurting my brother, and it has gone on, and then all of us will say, far too long. So let's try that. Somebody's it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. All right, this part we all do together. We'll say we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. All right, so we got the feel for it. We got the feel for it. Now we're gonna run it through. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. So we'll keep the rhythm going. Somebody's tearing those tents down, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's tearing those tents down, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting our siblings, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting our siblings, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Yeah, yeah, right. All right, we'll teach you another one real quick. They're all easy, and y'all are super good at it, we can tell. So this one is called Everybody's Got a Right to Live. It's easy enough. You got half the lyrics right here. You got all of them in your heart, right? All right. So for this one, we'll all sing it together. And we'll say, everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Because everybody has a right to live.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to housing. Everybody's got a right to housing. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta get back to work. We all gotta get back to work because there's a lot to be done. But before I go, we're just gonna do a quick chant. It's simple and easy. Y'all know what to say. We fight poverty, not the poor. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Real quick, thank you, Patrick. I owe almost everything I do to that man right there. Not only did he bring me into the fold during the BLM marches and protests, but he also brought me to the first BHC meeting before it was called BHC. Funnily enough, he had all of us in 2 rows marching up the sidewalk for about a mile and a half singing those songs. That's how I know those. So if you can imagine, about 15 homeless people plus my goofy butt and his goofy butt in the front helping them chant. It was beautiful. It was excellent. Well, yes, with somebody pulling their trash can as we were picking up trash. It was our first trash pickup.
That we borrowed from Shalom in return. Sorry, Shalom.
Yeah, sorry, we borrowed your trash can and brought it back. With that being said, that was a bit of positivity. We got a bit of requests. Vox, if you would, are you?
Hey folks, can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right, it's good to be here today. I wear a lot of hats in this community. Today I'm here to represent Hotels for Homeless. I've been helping on the board since they were established. It's important for you all to realize that, yes, last night we were able to get folks, mostly women, into the program, but we did that as an emergency basis. There were about 20 or so folks that needed to be housed, and we're just a grassroots campaign. You folks are the folks that pay our bills, so we need donations to be able to make sure that we can keep those women in. We'll be willing to take tents or whatever supplies, because honestly, we're just a small team of folks, and we can only do what we can do. But I want to make sure that we keep our neighbors safe. Everyone in here is important. Everyone's life matters, and we need to make sure that we act that out. Bloomington espouses a lot of progressive values. We don't often live them out. This is an opportunity to live them out. Folks down in front, don't put me on nothing. There are lots of folks out here that if you're going to put some pictures up, put those pictures up. I get more than enough attention. I want you to know that real quick, the links to donate to Hotels for Homeless so we can keep these folks in are at H4H Bloomington, and you can donate to us on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. You can check out the website at Hotels for Homelessness. Please help us help our neighbors. We appreciate you. Everyone have a good night.
All right. At this point, we're going to open it up a little bit. If you are homeless, or if you have worked with the homeless as an advocate, and you have something you'd like to say, start thinking about it. Okay? So we're going to open it up. The first person I'm going to invite up here is my good friend Crow. Someone I've been fighting this fight with since the beginning.
Hi, I'm Crow. I'm an alcoholic.
Every time. Every time.
Anyway, like I said, my name is Crow. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. My name is Crow. Most of y'all might know me from when I was on myself was beating these streets every day.
I can't hear you, Crow.
How about now?
That's better.
All right. Anyway, many of y'all might know me from when I myself was beating these streets on a daily basis. I was sleeping on these streets, and hell, even just this winter, right as it started, on this very courthouse, I was sleeping in that damn dumpster. I was fighting to live and survive, especially when the weather turned as cold as the officers that tore down the tents down at Seminary. Before that, before I started staying in that dumpster just to break the wind chill, I was down here on Kirkwood behind one of these businesses, and I was trying to stay behind there because I was cold. I didn't have anywhere else to go. I woke up about an hour later to a very angry business owner at the pizzeria down here telling me to get the fuck out and to get a job and quit taking over his space and they kept telling me, well, go to Wheeler if you have nowhere else to go. Wheeler has been full since winter contingency started. Winter contingency is where if you're there, by the time they open, they can't turn you away unless their beds are completely full. Every night for about 2 weeks while it started getting freezing cold, I was turned away from both Wheeler Mission, Friends Place, and a couple other places because I didn't either match their criteria or because they ran out of beds. I had nowhere else to go. I had no one else to turn to. So a lot of times I ended up sleeping in these back alleys. And quite frankly, it was hell. Not to mention, when I first got here, I came here with literally nothing. I came here with the clothes on my back, a backpack with one other outfit, and that was it. I didn't have an ID. I did not have a birth certificate. I did not have a social security card. Nothing. I was told, in response to that, go to the Shalom Center. They'll be able to help you out. They'll be able to help you get your legal documentation so that way you can go get a job and get off the street. So when I went to the Shalom Center, I went to go speak to Miss Lenora Bingley. I sat there and talked to her for half an hour just for her to tell me that the best she could do for me was buy me a Greyhound ticket back to Memphis and ship me off somewhere else for them to deal with me. They would rather ship us off and get us out of this town than actually solve their own damn problems. Granted, about a week later, I spoke to a Miss Novella, and she actually helped me get my ID and everything I needed so I could get a job. And now I'm working, I have my own apartment, I'm not on the street anymore. But the fact that when I first got here, the impression that I got is that this city would rather throw me away and send me to another town and say, basically go fuck yourself, bruh. They finally helped me eventually, but I had to go through a lot of hell and jump through a lot of hoops just to get the people with the resources to help me. And I'm tired of this stuff happening to other people in this community. When I was homeless, I made a lot of friends. Mark's one, Harry's one, and a whole lot of other folks from the homeless community. Miss Terry Meek right here. She helped me out more than anybody else in the homeless community. Not playing favorites, I'm just saying. You're not homeless. Nah, but I made a lot of good friends and they helped me out a lot and they helped me build the determination to be able to get out and do the things I needed to do. But the reason I even came to this town in the first place was because I was told that there were an ample amount of resources in this town to help the homeless, and I discovered that's some bullshit. I had to fight tooth and nail, scratch my way up to where I am right now, which is nearly anything at the moment, but that's beside the point. I had to fight my ass off, didn't get a single one of these resources, didn't get a single bit of help from this so-called progressive town's government, and I had to do all this myself. It took me 6 months to get to where I am right now. And while I'm happy that I myself am off the street, it tears my fucking ass up to see my friends that have been fighting just as hard for way longer than I can even imagine. Still on the street, still not getting help, and still cast off to the side like we're fucking garbage. So if you guys are really serious about helping our homeless community, don't just show up at these protests. Don't just show up when stuff goes wrong. Help us out. Help us have a voice. help us find work, help us, you know, if you know how to do something that could benefit us in the long run, come to us and be like, hey, what can I do? If you own a business, help us with work. Give us a job. At least an entry level something or another, man. Everybody's got to start somewhere. If you have resources that can help, that you can come to us with, please just be like, hey, I got something that can help you. Here's what it is. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Don't just show up when shit goes wrong and show up to these protests. Like, actively help your community and help your neighbor get up off the street and not have to sleep on the goddamn sidewalk anymore. There's one last thing, and I'm gonna hand it off to whoever walks up here. I don't want to hear. This is one thing I'm going to say to the BPD. I read the Blooming Tony yesterday when the news broke out about Seminary Park. Shout out Jeremy Hogan. I read in there that a quote specifically that a cop said, nobody wants to hurt these people, nobody wants to tear their shit up, while they're actively endangering our homeless siblings. So I don't want to hear shit from BPD about fucking morality and about not wanting to tear people's shit up when they are the ones that endangered the fucking homeless. They took away, those fucking pigs took away people's only means of staying warm at night on these winter nights. And you want to give me a lesson on morality? Go eat a dick. That's all I gotta say, bro.
Thank you, Bro. Bro's been a staple in not only the Bloomington Homeless Coalition, but basically everything that we've been doing right here in 2020. The day he got off the bus here, he stumbled up those steps into some weird thing going on here. A bunch of people shouting about Black Lives. And he was like, what's this town about? And he was so happy to meet us, and he participated and helped out. That man, I'm so happy to say, thank you, bro. Next, I believe, is Jana. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't think you need this.
I don't think I do either. Alright, hi Bloomington, I am Jana Arthur. I am the crazy bitch in this fucking town, and I am coming for fucking Mayor Hamilton. I've had a fucking enough! I will burn every fucking personal bridge that I have. I will do fucking anything for my family, and I will do it in the name of Bessie fucking Grubb and Crystal fucking Grubb and every other motherfucker that freezes to death on these streets.
Yeah.
I was at the mayor's house the morning after. I had the video, but people are trying to keep the crazy bitch in check and keep her safe, so I deleted it. I was at his house, and I asked him why, and he had no answers for me. And I went to, I made phone calls, get an appointment, this and that and the other, and they're not giving us any answers. So I tried to figure out what to do next. I went to the police station with a member of the community, and we read them the CDC guidelines, and they basically said, I have no answers for you. The mayor did this, so they're blaming the mayor. And as my brother, Mr. Mark Haggerty, has this sign, something to do with get rid of the mayor. And I'm not going to say a whole lot else, but the people in this town, like my name is out there a lot, I'm not doing a thing. I have a team behind me because I cannot do what I am doing and show up at the fucking mayor's house too. So there are a lot of people behind the scenes that are doing this, and I thank you. I'm going to shut up because I'm very emotional and I'm cursing a lot, and I meant to come up here and not say things. Today I've been reaching out to everybody, and I turned in a complaint through the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of everyone. They got their shit fucking taken. Woo! And we are going to fucking war in my goddamn name from Bessie Grubb and Crystal Grubb. And I've had enough, and I am experiencing homelessness, and I will be the fucking voice, and I'm sick of it. I am sick of it.
Thank you, Jana.
I would like Mr. Mark Haggerty to speak next. I know a lot of these activists that I've worked with for 20 fucking years, and I want to hear what this man has to say. I'm sorry I'm emotional.
Love you.
one thing to say. If you want to end this, put the homeless camp in front of Showers building. Make fires out there so people can have warmth and something to eat, and defend that camp.
Me and my wife brought cigarettes and flashlights for anybody experiencing homelessness. So if you want them, come up and see us. We also have Narcan to give out.
Testing. Can you hear me? Testing. Okay, yeah, I can hear myself. All right. Hi. So, believe it or not, homeless people have rights too. And I just want to mention that because, we hear a lot from the city about where the buck stops. It's like, oh, it's the city tells you, oh, it's the Parks Department. The Parks Department tells you it's the city, and the police don't even really answer questions straight. So yeah. But sorry, I'm just out of it. But when it. Sorry, I don't even know what to say.
You're good, man.
Thanks. Yeah, so I mean, this problem shouldn't even be a thing. I mean, they had tents at the park, and have you seen anybody else use the park at all? There's no playgrounds. There's no what is anyone at the park for, other than needing to crash in a tent? I don't get it. And everybody on social media, you know where I'm talking about, the Bloomington groups. They always say that oh, it's so dirty, it's unbearable. Oh, and I go there. It's really not. I don't want to say it's great, but it's an extreme exaggeration. And I'm tired. I'm trying to reason with people, but you know how it is. It's hard to reason with people, especially because people are dying. It's freaking ridiculous. And all the parks and rec people have to do, to solve these problems that they are making, is okay, the park is dirty. Have a damn trash can, not just a small one, have an actual one, and then install porta potties, and that's less taxpayer dollars than paying BPD overtime. This is just common sense. I don't and this takes no sacrifice at all. We can have another conversation for another day about where the taxpayer dollars should be going to. People like to say how the homeless don't pay taxes. They buy food, right? And you know that there's a food and beverage tax, and you know that goes to a convention center, which we could use that. Yeah, I would say boo too, but hell, we could use a convention center to house these people. What the hell? Government is a mess. I could talk all night about John Hamilton, but I want to mention Paul McDevitt, who is the head of the Parks administration, and the buck kind of stops with her, and there's really something that she and others can do. It doesn't have to be illegal for them to camp out, and I'll tell you why. It's a special use permit that they're enforcing, and they tried to make it so that they ban it all day, but we stopped them. But that's not the point. The point is that they can't enforce that if there's a permit. for them to camp. It's unpermitted camping, so they could just easily allow them to camp by having them registered. And that just takes nothing. That doesn't even take political will. It takes a basic sense of human decency.
He brought up the permit. How do you get one? I've actually tried to look it up. I can't find it. Can anybody tell me? Apparently they can't. Because if they could, I'd be able to find it to be able to get one. Of course, where I'm at, I don't think I need a permit, but that might change too. Not literally.
Kiss it.
Can you hear me?
No.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, my name's Jen. I did not grow up here. I grew up in Evansville and in Washington. From generational poverty, I never had lights or running water in my home. And from there, I went on to substance use and prostitution to survive. My life was like that for about 25 years. Living in abandoned houses and in trap houses, whatever you want to call them. It was just normal life for me until I realized that other people don't live that way. But I had to be taught that there was another way of life. The only reason that I'm saying this is that once I did turn my life around, it wasn't because someone came and said, I'll help you. I found people who had found help and they were able to come to me on my level. They didn't come to me and say, this is how you stop. They said, I want to be there for you while you are doing this and to show you that I still care about you. Once I did find a way out of my lifestyle that I had been living, I started working inside of behavioral health centers, and I worked with people from the inside out, and I've been doing that for about 7 or 8 years now. And my life is, right now I don't have a job, but this is the first time I haven't had a job in 8 years. I do the same thing that those people did for me. I had 3 friends that helped me change my life, and I will sit and have a conversation with people the same way that those people had conversations with me. You're my friend, you're my people, and we understand each other through compassion. There is no, I know better than you, and I know a different life than you. It's all the same. And I just want to be there. Even if they do come back to treatment or whatever, if they do need more help, they know that someone cares about them, and that's what matters. It's not that, they know that someone can get them funding or someone can do a housing project for them. It's that someone actually cares, and that's what people need. They need connection. And without connection, my life, I don't even know if I would still be alive today. Prostitution and using IV substance was my life, and I figured I would die that way, and I was okay with that until someone showed me that they cared enough about me to help me, and I believed them. And it's not going to come, whenever help comes, it's not going to come from signing paperwork and promising that someday you'll get a house. It's going to come from real conversations about being there for each other. And that's the only thing that we want to do, is just show that there is love and compassion in this community. And some of the things that are said on some of these threads on Facebook are absolutely horrible. And there's this huge divide in this community of who cares and who don't, and it's awful. If you really want to help, make sure that you are communicating with others that there's another way of doing these things instead of having that, well, we need to throw money at it or we need to get rid of it, because that's not a problem, it's a person.
Okay. My name's Nicole Johnson.
My name's Nicole Johnson. I'm with Pigeon Hill Pantry. I live in Bloomington Housing Authority Public Housing up on Pigeon Hill. I have been through middle way. I have been homeless with small children. I have a history of all kinds of stuff. I qualify. I am home housed right now and I do work. And I spend my spare time helping others. I would really like to point out that this bougie town has 2 dog parks at least. Fenced areas, so our dogs can be off a leash. 3 dog parks. Sorry, I've been corrected. So our dogs can be off of a leash because it is against the law for our dogs to be off a leash on public property. So we have made accommodations for pet owners. Woo! I would really like to see the same accommodations made for human beings. What happened in seminary is not new. I've been doing this since I came to this town in 2010. No, I'm not a local, but I've been here over a decade. I was part of Occupy. We've tried everything to keep that tent up, to keep people housed through winters. We went on to private property. We put it in parks. We put it on city property. We put it all over the place. It was always zoning. It's these NIMBY MFs, okay? Not in my backyard folks, okay, who don't want to look at what our homeless community so quietly protested and slept next to traffic. I'm sorry, that was a protest, people, if you don't realize it. No, that was not fun, sleeping in those tents. And they did sleep in those tents. They did that to be visible for a reason. They have no voice. They used what they had. Tents. All I'm going to say is that I think it's really important that we work together to funnel these people into some sort of a legal situation immediately. We don't have time to wait. We don't have time to create an amazing drop-in center that we all want. We need a triage to begin. That's also a safe injection site. Yeah. We need to help people where they are so we can get them to a place where the existing social services can actually help. I want to talk about the existing services. This is Beverly, CA. I'm sorry, but you do not know what is best for me.
Yes.
I do not know what is best for them. And that woman definitely doesn't. Centerstone is lacking greatly in our community. I am a client. I try to be. The city wants to talk about how great Centerstone is. I don't know about you. Talk to somebody who goes there. The only way to get a med change is to go through mental health crisis and go to the 5th floor of Bloomington Hospital. Bullshit. That is the only way to get your fucking meds changed. Nearly, dude. Talk to anybody. To have to put yourself into a mental health crisis in order to have a doctor hear that your medicine is not working is a problem. Yeah. You wonder why we have a problem with this. Also, I do want to point out that Bloomington is becoming a city, and they want this. They're building all these giant buildings. They want us to be a city. With cities, with larger populations, comes greater poverty. You need more services. On top of that, because of COVID, every service out there is limited in their ability to occupy people inside enclosed spaces at any one given time. Right. Therefore, we don't have enough services. We can't even fit every dang homeless person inside of a building they're allowed to be in. That's a serious problem. That's a deficit in social services. The fact that our city has given thousands and thousands of dollars to an organization that is not only failing, they closed the shelter because they couldn't keep it open because of funding this July. They have been unable to reopen that schedule, those beds, which are not extra beds. That's like supposed to be the number we have. 6 weeks later, we still don't have them. Divide 55,000 into weeks, please, because this is supposed to run from November and I think till March or something. So like, there's some money that needs to come back to the city, I know that much. Or go somewhere. I think it should go to H4H personally.
Yes, it should!
Maybe we could keep the 17 people that we have to tell tomorrow morning that they have to leave their hotel rooms. Maybe we could keep them inside. Because tonight it's gonna rain and it's gonna be winter. Yeah. So they're gonna be wet and cold for weeks. Because there is no place where they can be legally inside. I'm going to close with a short story. There's a gentleman, Glenn Carter. Glenn Carter is famed locally for telling the city council members that we should put helium balloons on the backs of the homeless so that they can float over the ground because it's illegal for them to be everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's an option. Glenn's dead. He was homeless, he was a local, he was an addict. He's not with us. We're still fighting the fight that he fought. We're still fighting the fight that Community Kitchen started. We need to make physical, real change happen. I've been here a decade and nothing's new. Nothing has changed in decades for these people in this town. We need to do something new. We need to listen to the people who need to help. We need to center their voices. We need just like client-led care. Who's a social worker? Who's a healthcare professional? Client led care. Everybody's screaming about it. It's what works. We know it. We need to put our clients, we need to put the people that we're trying to uplift, the homeless community in this situation, right? They're not clients, they're friends. But the idea is the same. We need to center their voices. We need to give them the help that they need and stop trying to throw help that we think they need at them. Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to say, I know everybody's getting cold and tired because the temperature dropped, but when I was homeless in Tampa, I've been homeless several times. I'm homeless in Tampa, and I actually came across an organization called Homeless Helping Homeless. And by the time I had noticed them, these guys owned like 5 or 6 houses in a row, a whole city block of houses in Tampa. And 2 men that were homeless, I guess someone gave them a home. They let people move in with them. Like $50 a month, you get a job, but it was completely peer ran. And the place was huge. I envisioned something like that for here. It's just something to think about. Think about if we can just get a house or a property to get people started. You know what I mean? So it's just a proposal for everybody. You know, if anybody has anything like that they might be willing to do, contact Bloomington Homeless Coalition, and we're going to be helping them with it too. So thank you.
I just got one more question for everybody. What is community? Last time I knew, it meant there was no segregation. No homeless on one side, no rich on the other side, and no in between. It meant everybody was the exact same. Maybe I'm wrong. Apparently these guys don't think it. But that's something to think about. What is community? We are all community, whether they think we are, whether they think we are. I was born and raised right here. I was born and raised in Bloomington Hospital. Well, born there. I was probably raised in a barn, but hey, I can't exactly remember. But like I said, community, the college kids, and a lot of these companies coming in from out of state and all this, yeah, they're part of our community. But I was raised here, born here. I am the community. And I'm still homeless, but I'm working on that. Thanks to Beacon. But yet, they still try to divide us. If you let them, they will. I'm not letting them divide me from any of my family. This is not just a community. The homeless is not just a community. You guys are not just a community. We are all family. We all bleed. We all breathe. We all live. We all die. That is a community. We work together.
Yes, sir.
Not against each other.
Yeah.
I just had that question.
Real quick, is there anybody else waiting to come up? Okay. How to put this? I learned by trial of fire that throwing something like this and not organizing a little bit first, and at least not having a path forward or an actual message or what is called a list of demands is ill-advised. So guess what we did yesterday? 2 days. I don't know time. We came up with a list of demands for the city. Number 1, immediate end of the war on unhoused camps in Bloomington. Number 2, immediate diverting of the money that would have paid for November of the Wheeler, which amounts to $20K, to H4H, which is Houses for the Homeless. And number 3, this is the big one, this is long term, an approved location of where to set up camps, the unhoused in Bloomington, that allows for getting back and forth to resources. Now, let's not joke, that's still a stopgap. I'm going to say 2 words, and I want you to say them back to me. Housing first.
Housing first.
Housing first.
Housing first.
Housing first.
Housing first.
It's easy. We need to put people in homes. We need to get them off the streets. I don't have enough hot air. I have a lot of hot air, but not enough hot air to make this man float above the ground, to make him legal. I got a lot of hot air, but not that much.
And honestly, that might be a bad idea to put me on a balloon.
I know his sense of humor. You don't want him above you. Now, I'm big on happiness and positivity, or at least I try to be. So I'm going to bring it back around. I want a round of applause for everybody that's helped in the past few weeks, past few months, past few years. I'd like another round of applause for the IRA for everything they do for our community. This was going to be all cheesy. But I'd like a round of applause for yourselves for deciding that enough was enough. I'm showing up today, and I'm going to help change this.
Yeah.
You guys don't think too highly of yourselves, because I didn't hear that. Now, I guess it's not a secret anymore. A lot of people were asking me, are we going to march? Are we going to march? Are we going to march? No, we're not going to march. Not today, at least. What works for one cause may or may not work for another cause. Also, it's dark. And also, to be frank with you, there's a lot of people that couldn't even make it here because they couldn't walk up here. I couldn't ask people to march for that. Stay tuned though, because we have other things that we're planning for the weeks ahead, next week including.
What channel is that?
Stay tuned to channel BHC on Facebook.com, hashtag.
Or Instagram.
Do you guys let the real address to that Facebook page?
No, they're not going to.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's really easy though. It's B-Town Homeless Coalition.
B-Town Homeless Coalition.
It's really easy, yeah.
Look us up on Facebook. You'll know what I mean. Do what you can, but I want to say this because this past year I've seen a lot of this. Don't do more than you can. Don't wear yourself out. That is really important, and I can't stress that enough because I've seen so many people go so hard for so long that unfortunately they've become people that need to be helped out. So do what you can and no more. Find help, talk to people, and just be part of the community. Does anybody else want to come up here and say something? You don't have to be homeless, you don't have to be in that. You're all advocates, by the way. You're all here, you're all advocates.
Thank you all again for everyone that's come out. We really, really appreciate it. Look at each other in the eyes. Tell you love each other. These fucking times are hard as shit. Tell each other you love each other. Listen to each other. Listen to your friends. Listen to your neighbors. Listen to your community. This is our number one problem. The root of it all is we are not listening. Listen to each other. Listen to your brother. Listen to those cries. Listen to each other. I'm not going to say it again. Yeah, I am. Listen to each other. Listen to each other. This is the number one problem. It's at the root of this. We're not listening to each other. Listen to those cries. Listen to those sadness. Listen to the happiness. Listen to each other. Okay?
Say it back to me.
Listen to each other.
Listen. That is a heart of compassion. That is a heart of where this movement is going. You have to listen. You have to have empathy. You have to have compassion. Whatever that is to you, whatever it means to you, do it. Thank you all again for coming out today. You all are freaking awesome. You all are like the root of where we are going. Thank you so much again.
Real quick, we got sanitizer over here. I got far too many, so please help yourself. We also have masks and stuff like that, water, all that stuff. Help yourself. Network right now. Don't just leave. Talk to people and